House of Lilies is the story of a family, for that is what a dynasty is. In this case, that family, the Capetians, ruled a kingdom that became a recognizable antecedent of France as it exists today, in no small part due to their efforts over the 3.5 centuries from the dynasty's inception in 987 to its end in 1328. So this book is about the intertwined histories of this family and of the lands and people that they ruled, or came to rule, during a time of deep and far-reaching changes that shaped much of French and European history right down to the present day. To most readers who did not grow up in France, and to many of them who did, that history is almost entirely unknown. And yet Capetian France not only witnessed, but often also originated some of the most recognizable developments of the Middle Ages, including Gothic architecture, crusading, and so-called courtly love. By the 13th century, France was the wealthiest and most prestigious kingdom in Christian Europe, and the Capetians were equally renowned for both their military might and their religious devotion, traits they combined when warring against heretics at home and Muslims abroad. To a very considerable degree, the Capetians created medieval France. By the dynasty's end in 1328, the realm looked quintessentially medieval in many ways, even if that adjective conjures up nothing more precise than soaring cathedrals, reprehensible religious persecution, and powerful kings. But it certainly did not look like that in 987, or for a long time after. Gothic architecture, with its high, slender columns, pointed arches, and great expanses of colored glass, developed in their lands in the mid-12th century, a few decades after the First Crusade, 1096 to 99, and around the same time that the persecution of heresy began to build up steam. Yet it was a Capetian king, Robert II, who oversaw the first burning of heretics in 1022. Much of the intolerance and superstition that is often associated with the Middle Ages didn't even really take hold until the turn of the 14th century. Nor, even then, did the Church have a stranglehold over people's imagination or behavior, particularly as it was itself so often internally riven by political and ideological dissension. But it is probably the serious limitations on the power of the Capetian kings and the uneven hold they had over the varied lands that made up their kingdom, especially in the first century or so of their rule, that is most at odds with modern expectations. So it's worth taking a little time here at the beginning to explain how the Capetians ruled and how that evolved to more closely resemble the stronger kingship of later times.